presentations. And as background for our first presentation, let me just say that Lafayette's mission statement calls out our commitment to lifelong learning. And through the city's Public Art Committee and its newly expanded focus, the city seeks to embed the arts in our civic life and in the fabric of our community. During the next 2 years, we'll help strengthen these civic values through presentations at the beginning of the first council meeting of each month by an arts organization or an organization that offers lifelong learning opportunities. Tonight is our second presentation. Kathy Bowles of the Park Theater Trust Board will talk to us about the renovation of the Park Theater and the contribution the Park Theater will make not just to the vibrancy of our downtown, but to the vibrancy of our arts community. Kathy, it's all yours.
I think she was going to.
We're ready for the presentation.
Thank you. So, good evening. My name is
Can we have that on the TV screen as well?
me. No. Oh. Oh. I'm glad I'm not responsible.
We don't want to have to turn our backs on you, so.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh, perfect.
All right. So my name is Kathy Bowles. I'm the president of the Park Theater Trust. And on behalf of the Park Theater Board, 2 members are here tonight, Tracy Farrell and John McCormick. Of course, John really doesn't have a choice. And also on our phenomenal finance, legal, and construction committees and our community partners. Just wanted to thank you for your time and an invitation to speak to you tonight. But I want to thank City Council, and not just the current members, but the previous council members for their commitment to lifelong learning and the arts. We all know any significant change starts with leadership. They have displayed decades of commitment to art, culture, music, theater, and dance. We acknowledge and appreciate that a robust and healthy community has to contain these elements. It is a commitment made decades ago by LASF, now LPI, by our schools, our community's embrace of a 100-year-old theater, the amazing library and its commitment to lifelong learning for every segment of our society, the Community Foundation of Lafayette for supporting small art and culture nonprofits that make our community so much richer, and the list goes on. The Park Theater is part of that rich history and heritage, and I appreciate the opportunity to delve a bit deeper into how the park will be a cultural catalyst for our greater community. So as you know, the Park Theater Cinema opened in 1941 as a cultural cornerstone of the community's growing downtown. The arrival of regional multiplexes led to its closure, but the community always desired a rebirth. And thanks to generous donations from the community and the city of Lafayette, in 2021, the all-volunteer nonprofit Park Theater Trust purchased the park property on behalf of the community. And today, the Park Theater Trust is closing in on its goal of raising $15 million to renovate this historic community cinema that has been dark for all these years. I want you to kind of note the condition of that theater when we were removing those seats. It is going to go from a single screen movie house to a sustainable 2-theater cinema with a community space, commercial kitchen, rooftop terrace, and will be operated by the highly regarded Cinema SF Bay, who runs the historic theaters in San Francisco. As you can see from this, there's a couple highlights. If I had one of those like red wands, I would do that. But there's a large theater, about 160, 65 seats, small theater, 49, an expanded lobby, a community space, which is on the mezzanine level there. You'll see the grand staircase that goes up to the top level with natural air light, coming down, and then the rooftop terrace and solar panels on the top. So when we purchased the park on behalf of the community, one of the goals and the promises was to save its historic, iconic marquee and architecture from demolition. Architecture is art. And so a bit more about this unique gem we have in the heart of our downtown. Here are some of the highlights about the architect's career, William B. David. He immigrated, he was an immigrant from Armenia, moved to California in 1920. He was a former set designer for MGM. He built 25 cinemas on the West Coast in the streamlined modern style, which was a style that followed the Art Deco style and was considered to be cleaner, unadorned surfaces, sweeping horizontal lines, and at that time, inexpensive to build due to less ornamentation. Now, wouldn't that be nice? That was then, and this is now. The other really iconic part about the park, of course, is the marquee and the tower. And one of the unique thing is the trapezoidal shape instead of a rectangular box to maximize sight lines, and the very rare Novio glass that we have. This glass is from 1941, is significantly rarer because production of decorative neon effectively halted during World War II as factories shifted to the war effort. Our glass represents the peak of the Art Deco streamlined modern craftsmanship just before that era ended. And a little bit about the Novio glass, it really was talking about true gold. It gets us, here's a fun fact. Fun. Novio glass gets its name because it was designed to be no violet. The glass itself acts as a natural filter that blocks the purple violet light from the gas discharge, leaving only this pure, warm, golden glow. So we have in our neon, we have really a unique piece of art in and of itself. Luckily, we identified really the foremost restorationist of neon probably in the country. His name is Jim Rizzo. He resides in Berkeley, and he has our neon there in storage waiting to restore. There's so much about the park that's distinctive. And at every opportunity, the park is reusing our treasures and working hard to recapture kind of the welcoming nature that was the original park. Here are a couple of things that we're doing. Kind of the carpet is being duplicated, perhaps with a less floral pattern that we had. We are working with Series Seating, which has provided seating to the Screen Actors Guild and other different theaters throughout the country. We will have comfortable chairs, but that are also in keeping with the time. Again, our exterior wood and glass poster boxes are being recreated. This shows some of our gems. On the left are the original Art Deco sconces. They were in the large theater. That picture, they're actually shown in the back of Tracy Farrell's car as she was taking them to storage. See, we go to really no end to save money. And then the teardrop ceiling lights on the right are being restored and rewired. Those sconces really were held center stage in the big theater and will be there again in the larger theater once we reopen. The vintage film cabinet on the left will be purposed in the community space, and the one projector head, the gold part, will be displayed in the lobby, and the other one will reside with the Lafayette Historical Society. A little bit about our partnership with the Lafayette Historical Society. All of our old photos and our information on our website that deals with the history of the park really was in partnership getting from the Historical Society. We also, thanks to funding by the Community Foundation of Lafayette, we are creating a documentary capturing the history and the reconstruction of the park. And we look forward to sharing that documentary when we open in early 2027. So bring your mind back to what that original slide showed of what the theater looks like. This is when you took off all of that awful ceiling and the paneling and the walls. This is the bones of what was there. This is all beautiful, beautiful redwood. The stairs on the right, as you can tell, were not to code. That is how we accessed the top for several years to change the marquee when we first purchased the park. On the left are the two projectors that were there. And just want to note that these were real, REEL, film projectors, and that the park, in its re-envisioned state, will be able to show not only digital film, but also real film, which I don't think there's any theater in the East Bay that can do that. This was like my favorite thing to do. When we were showing people the theater, you'd go upstairs, and that knob on the right was how you actually turned on the lights in the theater, those that worked. So you just moved that knob from one to the other, and hopefully, no sparks flew, but, clearly we will be a little bit refurbished. It all starts with the movies, but the Reborn Park Theater will offer so much more. So our research, which started back in 2018 and continues to this day, has shown that our community wanted movies, but did want more. They wanted music, they wanted speakers. One of the things we focused on early was creating an environment that could deliver a variety of entertainment forms. And we will be able to deliver, thanks to the incredible team we have on board, not just our architect, ArcSign, but Charles Salter of Salter Engineering and Meyer Sound are partnering with us, both considered leading experts in their field in acoustical engineering and manufacturing. The park will really be an acoustical showpiece, not just sound for movies, but for all the variety of programming that will be offered. Another equally important aspect of the experience is the HVAC system, which was designed by Taylor Engineering, another top expert in their field. All of these experts are offering their services in incredible discounts, and we are extremely grateful. So although we will be replicating many of the wonderful textile and period piece finishes, the patron experience will really be top-notch. So this is just a rendering of what the mural might look like. That was indeed the old floral carpet that was in the Park Theater for many, many years. We'll have a mural with a grand staircase, the concession stand, a commercial kitchen. Here is the larger theater, and way before we picked out our seating, that is indeed some of the seating that will look like that. This is where the sconces will go. Again, this will be 160 to 165 seats. And here's the rooftop terrace that will really be so unique to Lafayette and just such a wonderful spot. We don't have a picture here of the community space, but we know that will be really highly utilized by city, by chamber, by nonprofits, by families. So this is an example, and it's probably too small for people to see, but it was an example of the programming Cinema SF provided us back in March of 2024. That maybe was a little wishful thinking, but if you want to look at the current offerings, check out the Balboa Theater website. In addition to current movies and throwback favorites, they host special events like comedy nights, thematic festivals, music nights, documentaries by local artists, including high schools and colleges. And perhaps in our case, they would consider a showing by one of our own city council members. And to show their commitment to Lafayette, Adam and Jamie recently spent 2 days here, just listening. They met with a variety of organizations representing seniors, teens, elementary and preschool-aged children and their families, high school teachers, and city and chamber representatives. And we know they will deliver. So created in 2019, our mission statement kind of remains our mission today. I won't read that for you. I think we've gone through it in terms of where our priorities are. So here is our question. Here's my question to all those listening and hopefully watching this in the near future is, do you believe that the park can be a cultural catalyst for our greater community? And if yes, we would greatly appreciate your support. Thank you. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Okay,
Thank you.
well, thank you very much for coming to tell us about this evening. Thanks for all the work that you've done since 2019. It's just been incredible. Are there any questions?
Just a quick one. Apologies if I missed it, but so what's the timeline? When do you think you'll be open for all this great?
So the target is, we're saying early 2027. We got held up a little bit in the permitting process and particularly over the holidays. But I also have to do a shout out to the city staff, the county, even PG&E has been really remarkable in terms of kind of pushing forward the project. So we have weekly meetings with OVRA, our contractor, and we have a timeline that, trust me, the trust is very active in terms of making sure that they are on target. So the target right now is, it's supposed to be a 14-month project, and we're pushing to see if we can shrink that a little bit, but first quarter. Thank you, Jim.
Okay, is there any public comment?
No speakers at this time, Mayor and Dury.
Okay, thank you again for being with us tonight.
Thank you.